officially United States of America's first recognition of the beginning of freedom for our ancestors and us as black folk, as we know that Juneteenth was officially signed by executive order, that is, that we begin the discussion, because you know when you look online and you see everybody's got something to say about Juneteenth. You know what I'm saying? So some are saying it didn't start to the 13th Amendment. Some people are saying slavery was still going on even after Juneteenth. I mean, so the discussion of slavery is on the mouths of millions. And some people are not impressed with President Joe Biden's executive order to commemorate Juneteenth. So what are your thoughts?
I don't even know how we got the holiday. How did we get it?
So how it goes is apparently
What
on
executive
June
order?
19th, yeah, what's his name? General, was it Gordon? Went into Texas and said, hey guys, I don't know if you
How did Biden give us the order?
I believe some
For the holiday.
people, he got some pressure. Huh?
How did we get the holiday?
I think that's
Because
like
it was already a holiday in Texas.
It was already a holiday in Texas. But they said we need to make it nationwide. So
Did you guys get the flag?
did we get the flag? No, I don't have the flag. There was a debate.
No, what I'm saying, did you guys get the design of the flag?
No, I didn't get the design of the flag.
That's what I have to say about it. To me, the flag doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense to you?
No, it's a star on it.
It's a star. What's
Yeah.
up? What's up? They said we ready. They said we ready. Everybody in the chat is like, woo, we ready. So we're having a little technical difficulties here. I'm not quite sure. We're kind of freezing up here, but we're going to keep it rolling, and perhaps technology will catch up to this topic today. So we're starting a little bit off with Juneteenth, and so today is the holiday, and it is getting people to talk a little bit more. I don't know if that was the purpose of it, but if you know, everything begins with a little conversation. So once you get the conversation going, and then we always have to see what happens after folks start talking. So today is officially Juneteenth. That is signed. Well, we actually celebrated today, and yesterday was the official day from, according to Galveston, Texas, their tradition. All right. So that's where we're at. And so we see a lot of people was doing some great things to honor it and celebrate it. So let's keep the conversation going. We got some people in the chat we're gonna give some super duper shout outs to. I see my BFF, she always on time. What's up, Rochina? We got our Canadian hot babe that's in the house. We love when you join us, Miss Shauna. Juju, what's up? I hope you're feeling good out there. We got our YouTube, and then my mentor, my little brother, Mr. Kofi Pasa of the Kofi Pasa research team. So don't forget to share this, because this one is a 3-part series. And when I tell y'all I'm acting a fool up on this one right here, I'm acting a fool. See, Cheryl ain't gonna be the only one rocking. Let me put my hat up from Cleveland. So we got to do things a little different up in here. You know what I'm saying? So this is how it's going down today. How it all got started. All right. So what's happening here? What's going on? So maybe 2 weeks ago, right? I received quite a few emails, quite a few text messages about relaxers causing, not relaxers, relaxers having ingredients, a specific ingredient It's in the relaxer, and they have research, and the research is saying maybe this has something to do with why black women are getting breast cancer or not surviving, compared to white women. So their biggest concern is that these relaxers, I brought some here. So we have, now they did not name names, but this is the ones that we're all kind of familiar with. So we got some, the dark and lovely. We got some pink. I do use relaxers, by the way. I use them just about every day. I proudly use the Afara relaxer system. Okay, so these are just a couple of the relaxers. So relaxers are, supposedly linking to breast cancer. And so this is how this got started. So I'm talking to Cheryl about it, and I'm really concerned. And my concern as a licensed cosmetologist is that they're hurting my career. So we got to get this party started and talk about this, because I don't know. I need you guys to kind of help me out in the chat. I had a feeling that this topic would definitely bring in a lot of people, and of course it is. So I need you guys to just kind of, interact with us in the chat and share with us whether you are on LinkedIn, whether you are on Facebook, or whether you are on YouTube. Please join the discussion, because this is how it gets really rich, and it makes the dialogue very, we can bring out more of really what lies beneath when it comes to this issue with black hair. So, so we have, this is going to be a 3-part series, right, Cheryl? And so we're
Yes.
looking at it from fake news. We're looking at it from junk research. I have never heard of junk research. So we're going to have you expound on junk research, and then sensationalism. So if we could start this discussion off, because this is an issue to me as an African American hairstylist. I'm not feeling this. So from these 3 aspects, I'm just going to ask you to just individually, if you can get everybody on the same page. So when we say fake news, because when you hear fake news, you just think, Donald Trump saying don't trust the media, okay? So what does fake news have to do with the black hair care industry? What do you mean by fake news?
Well, I think I got one this morning. Do I have a delay?
A little bit, a slight delay.
Okay. I don't know how to fix that.
You're coming through. Yeah, you're coming through.
But I am coming through?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I think I got one this morning. I'm going to try to turn this off. Would this help? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Is that better? Is that much better? I don't know why we have a delay.
Yeah.
Boy. Anyway, I'm gonna.
Okay. It's coming through. You're rolling.
Okay. I got one this morning. It was based on Yahoo News. And it was another alert about uterine cancer in terms of black women. And one of the wonderful things about Yahoo News, that you get it quick and it just comes in 2 hours later, or it comes in just now. Fake news is information about something someone did, or there is a study.
Wait a minute, hold on. You're getting some lag.
Delayed.
So, yeah, so Kofi says, go back out and then come back in. So let's try this again. All All right. Okay, guys, we're just having a little technical difficulties. Kofi, where would I be without you? In the meantime, what's up, Zane? What's up, everybody out here in these social media streets? It's me, your homegirl, Ladosha, Wright, coming to you live and direct from Cleveland, Ohio, because we have a serious issue, at least to me, when it comes to the state of black hair care here in America. And we're driving this topic in with 3 points in 3 parts. And those 3 points, and they're also going to be our 3 parts, we're talking about fake news, we're talking about junk research, which I've never heard that term before, and then of course, good old-fashioned sensationalism. These 3 things are really killing the black hair care industry, and we think this social media may have something to do with it. So let's bring Cheryl back in. Here we go. Booyah. Okay, there we go. All right.
That
Thanks,
better?
Mr. Kofi. We can not Kofi. You gotta come on every time and make sure I'm doing everything right. I know Kofi like, damn, don't you like to say that? Thanks, Kofi. Okay, so break down that whole.
Is it my
fake
voice
news
matching?
again. Say it again.
Is my voice matching?
Yeah.
I don't know because I haven't done anything different. No,
So
it's
break
not
down that
matching.
fake news again. Hmm?
No, it's not matching.
Freezing again. Here, how about, so we're still trying to get this technical, I'm kind of, I don't know. Yeah, Kofi, she went out, she came back in, and we're still kind of freezing. Should I go out and come back in as well? So as you guys can tell, clearly I'm a better hairstylist than I am a podcaster. And so we're still trying to work this out. Hold up, here we go. Okay. Whoops. All right. Okay, here we go. Let's come back through. Add stream. All right, there we go. Okay. Hello. We got it. Can you hear me?
I can hear all you guys. It's just that there's a delay on my side.
Okay. All right. So let's start off again. Break down fake news in the beauty industry. You were saying that this stuff coming up in Yahoo about
Right. Or Google or any other news story. I think what ends up happening is that they will say something, and I think you guys have heard when they're talking about economics, they'll talk about GDP, but then they'll say something like per capita. And I think that the sensationalism of fake news is because of there's a historical lack of, or what they call in terms of a disparity, which I put in the article, which I'll post later. But it leads a population like African Americans in this country to think or feel that they are important enough to be considered and studied and included into medical studies. But when they don't realize is that the sensationalism will be in the headline only, but when you get to the real intent and the concern within the study, it is not basically to serve the disparity or to stop the disparity. It's just they just want to let you know that you're suffering from something, and then of course the numbers get fuzzy, and the conclusion and or the information or what the intent of the study means to do, it's inconclusive. That is a sensational piece of information that comes in, or that the study in and of itself is not broad enough, and it just really serves as sensationalism and fake news.
All right, so now we got a combined answer when we're talking about fake news, junk research, sensationalism. And so basically what you're saying is, in addition to that definition, is that we have to watch out for the source as well? Do you think that's important?
Um, the source, even though the sources may be um, reputable or coming from a scholastic, accredited, collegiate, or a university, something of that nature, but the junk research cannot just be for the sake of grant dollars or just for the sensationalism. It must be based on trying to improve or enhance the subject matter that you're talking about. Or
Okay.
you must have some kind of historical reference or experience into the hair, skin, or the person that you're studying, and they don't.
Okay. All right. So Kofi's dropping in the chat. It might be your mic. So maybe speak closer into your mic. So, all right. So let's get into this topic here about what's costing, what's causing,
Mhm.
and what's costing. Now, remember, guys, this is a three-part series, and this is very, 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 very important because when you're talking about, working in the beauty industry as licensed professionals, we have a lot of information and we have a lot of education, and we have training that we can take, while we're in school, as well as what we would call continuing education. So we'll go to other places and, facilities to learn how to take care of your hair. But the biggest red alert, as in like DJ Red Alert, the biggest red alert on the radar are these babies right here, the relaxer. So before we get into a little bit about the relaxers, let's talk about how the relaxers got kicked out. How did the relaxers get kicked out? Now, I work in the salon, Cheryl, so you're not in the salon every day. It's been a while. And so
Mhm.
now this conversation is from my limited Cleveland. I do a little bit of traveling, you know what I'm saying? So this is not I don't represent the entire scale or scope of African American cosmetologists here in the United States, okay? But how did the relaxers get kicked out came from this natural hair movement, particularly, I'm making this word up, particularly from individuals with what they call 4C hair. We know that true Afro hair was being very, very underserviced in the beauty industry, which I'm going to be honest, I agree. I do feel like the Afro textured hair is the most misunderstood of all the textures on the planet. So and when I say misunderstood, I want you guys to jump in the chat and let me know. We got some more. What's up coming in? Atlanta representing. What's up, ATL? Atlanta coming through. So I'm gonna shoot off just a few things that I see. Oh, shoot, we got the Zippers in the house. How we gonna let down south come in? Come on through other states. What Cleveland at? What's up, BF? The real BFF, Hattie May is in the chat. Okay, so these are the things, Cheryl, that I saw that began the decline of the beauty industry. But I still do relaxers, so I was kind of not getting it, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I don't know, I'm booked for the rest of the year, so I don't get it. So we got stretching. All right, so people with Afro textured hair was not liking the shrinkage. So the natural movement, to me, the first was we want to stretch this Afro textured hair. That's one. Number two, the twist out. I don't know whose dumb idea was that, but the twist out was making people really feel like you could take this Afro textured hair and somehow turn it into something that no Afro hair could ever do, okay? But it was making things go down. Another one, protective styles. Now, my BFF Hattie Mae, she worked alongside me for 10 years. I have never understood protective styles, but that's another conversation. Length, shrinkage. The natural hair movement was very anti-shrinkage. And then, of course, the celebrity created products. To me, again, this is what I take, that I saw, that began the demise, the fall of the black beauty industry by way of misunderstanding that Afro-textured hair. Of course, the word kinky, nappy, them two words right there, I don't know. And then last but not least, I know YouTube gonna be like, really? But I'm gonna say, I think YouTube had a lot to do with this, and that's because cosmetologist was not on the pulse of the people with the coily, kinky, 4C, nappy, whatever they want to call it, we want to call it. It's up to you. I'm not knocking those terms, but I prefer coily. But, so Cheryl, you tell me, am I on point? Is that the begin of the fall of the black hair care industry by way of us altering it? Because we would do everything in a hair salon. Now all of a sudden we can't do anything but relax. I'm like, well, help me out, Cheryl. What happened? Damn it, mad.
Well, let's just get a couple of things historically correct. Um, one, that there's two natural hair care movements. The one right before the Y2K, YouTube natural hair care consumer becoming an expert all of a sudden. That was not the first one. You had the braids and you had the lock deregulation and allowing, you had Pamela Farrell and you had Sheila Hale and Joanne Cornwell out of San Diego, which is the creator of Sister Locks, all going in there deregulating or trying to get the industry, the consumer affairs on the state level to deregulate and keep their regulations off the braiders and locticians. That's the first one. And the real first one is obviously the 60s. Now, the difference between the Y2K after the YouTubers, they did not have they had the least information, and they really started coming out being anti-chemical. They're not pro-natural. That is not their epicenter of what they went and said. Traditional cosmetology, completely take your hands off our hair and we're going to go back to the kitchen, because traditional black cosmetology and all of our great success and success moguls, these were very sophisticated technology and innovators and things of that nature. And I can say that the difference between traditional cosmetology, it is laboratory generated, it is technology generated, and the most sophisticated, what created the billion-dollar industry is the innovators, the technology, Wave Nouveau, MEAT formula, the LA Light formula, the curl formulas, all of the other product lines. When we had the curl, we did not take other people's gel. We made our own gel. And so there was a whole different energy, a laboratory, innovation, and technology. So those are three different movements. You got to unmute your mic so I can hear you.
Okay, I feel like that commercial. Thank you. I hope you guys are understanding. This is a twofold situation here. I mean, a true twofold. So, on one token, technology took us and advanced us to do a lot
Mhm,
of different things to the hair. That's one.
mhm,
Two, the technology also gave us wealth like no other. And
mhm,
so now we can see where that little fine line, I'm just going right here using this pencil, there's a fine line between the new, what you're calling the Y2K, who are anti-chemicals. And then if you
mhm.
go back a little bit further, you had the YouTubers who were like, you don't understand me anyway. And we do have my homegirl Shauna from Canada is saying, yeah, the coily, 4C, kinky, nappy, that, those adjectives, textured hair is misunderstood, especially here in Montreal. And she says that in those salons, they absolutely had no idea of what to do with her hair. So that brings me back to the beginning.
Mhm.
How is it that that 4C, nappy, kinky, coily, textured hair is now the most misunderstood, starting from that YouTube and Y2K down, because it was being taken care of. We can look at Afro Sheen. We can look at, the afros and we grew up with that texture being able to be understood and well taken care of. So what's happening in the education that the newer cosmetologists and the YouTube autodidacts don't understand? What's happening in that education?
Well, like I said, genetically and anatomically correct and scientifically proven. What we consider tightly coiled African Afro coily hair is the mother texture. It's the first texture. It is so dominant that it is exclusive. Not even every black person has it.
Right.
It is a the most exclusive human phenotype. It is so exclusive to human beings that there's only a sector in a group that has that, and it's considered the most human hair because it's so exclusive that it's only found on a human. It cannot be misidentified optically just by the naked eye. It doesn't need forensics, it doesn't need a microscope, it doesn't need anything. That hair is obviously human because so the most exclusive that particular um, phenoltrate, that shape, that coil, it has an exclusive behavior. So, but you have to understand, why would white cosmetology or white science or white chemists, white medical doctors, and why are they going to study something that has nothing to do with them? So it just goes to show you that when you see human hair, it don't have nothing to do with no black person. It's a straight hair and that's it. So science, that is one of the reasons why racism starts becoming political and it starts to dovetail and sink and trickle down into liberal arts such as cosmetology, because the people who are doing junk research and doing fake news and sensationalism and doing articles and doing studies, they don't look like you. They're not, they don't have your coil. They don't have your hair. They're not going to study. That's one of the reasons why I made Mr. Morrow so unique as a barber, because he specifically went into the marketplace and said, I only study Afro hair, hair of Negroes, hair, Negro curly hair, black skin, period. I don't do nothing else. And he was the world's expert. So
Okay.
you, you're not going to get any generation in progression of study from people who do not understand, have your hair, grow your hair. It's just not going to happen. We have to do it. And I don't know any
Okay.
other scientist that has broadened that conversation in a, and let me just say this, I got the
Okay.
receipts. Mr. Morrow has spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on studies, getting these labs to pay attention to black folk hair.
Okay.
Right.
So we
And
have a
plus,
young lady.
the big afros only worked if you had tightly coiled hair. Remember, tightly coiled hair had the best afro.
Right. That's the only way. Yeah, I can't get a big afro. I'm steady. So we have a young lady in the chat, and she said, believe it or not, that this, and I apologize for the feedback. I'm still not quite sure what's going on here. We are definitely well connected, so I'll have to get another little lesson here. But she's in the chat, and she said that what you're saying is also true in the funeral or the funerary, industry, where black skin, black texture is non-existent. And I hope what you guys are beginning to understand is that there is something looming, and there is definitely something that's it's hidden, or maybe not hidden. It's not talked about. And so what we're saying is that when we get these cosmetology license, when we go to school and we get education, we're not getting education on Afro textured hair. So when you, the consumer, are complaining that we, the technicians, or we, the cosmetologists, or we, the trichologists, or we, the dermatologists, we are not able to service your texture properly, Cheryl and I are going to be bold to go on the record and say, you're right. And this is because our education is flawed. And so the Y2K people who are pushing anti-chemical, unfortunately, as much as they think they're helping you by telling you to be anti-chemical, we're going to go on the record to say they're not. They're not helping you. Because, remember, Cheryl talked about this, and we're talking about this is a molecule conversation. And so food grade molecules, it just won't work. And when we look at the history, the only person I can think of when I think of advancing natural and then taking it into a science would be George Washington Carver. So we do have, and I know there were others, but we do have a rich legacy, starting with him that I know of, and sure, maybe you can give us some more as you guys see where I'm going with this, is that we understand the Y2K hairstylists that's saying anti-chemicals, but you have to understand molecules play a big role in the ability to manipulate and do things to the fabric that you guys are trying to do with the whole stretching, twisting, protective style, length, shrinkage, celebrity products, even terms, even right here on YouTube. You need science. So talk to us about the legacy of George Washington Carver compared to the people who are just, we're gonna take some oil, some coconut, and some shea butter. We're gonna get some yogurt and some peanut butter, and we're gonna mix it up with some avocados and some jojoba. Let's not forget jojoba or jojoba, and make our own hair conditioner. Talk to us about George Washington Carver, and then kind of bring us forward, because we want you guys to understand we need science to better service you.
And let me just say this first, and so I can steer your mind on how science and innovation and technology is important. Can anyone tell me what hair shrinkage is?
Mm. Anybody in the chat? We got the chat is pretty full. So who wants to take a stab? Hate to use that word. Who wants to go for it and just drop in the chat? What do you
Okay.
think it is for hair to shrink? So someone typed in lack of moisture. That when hair does not have moisture, it draws up. So that's what shrinkage means. Thank you so much, Sharon. And we are going to mail you. We got somebody to.
Not so fast.
Go ahead.
She didn't get it. She didn't get
She
it.
didn't get it. I was giving it to her for participation. Okay, but
I knew that.
so you're gonna get it for participation, but lack of moisture is not what it means to be shrinkage for hair to shrink. Okay, so carry on. I'm gonna mute my mic.
Okay. The reason why the Y2K and most Black people perceive. Now, there was another word when we were growing up, right? It was called revert. And then the Y2K came and said shrink. Okay. Now, those two things basically are the same thing. And as the African American perception is that those two things in the first place are negative. Okay. And the problem and the reason why cosmetology must lead in the beauty sciences is because at least cosmetology will open the gates to having a scientific conversation and not a consumer low level misinformation, disinformation, and things that are just don't make any sense. So in cosmetology has to at least approach something scientifically sound. And my point is that ironically, this is one thing that I was sharing with Ladosha when we were together in San Diego, was that because you don't have the language, you don't understand that it's an oxymoron to apply the word relaxer to Afro textured hair, because when Afro textured hair reaches humidity, moisture, wetness, or any wet surface, it wants to relax. So shrinking is relaxing. Afro hair does not go down. It doesn't grow down. It wants to shrink because the wet creates the relaxing trigger. It's relaxing when it shrinks. And I understand that that will set us up for misinformation, because the relaxer, in the term of chemically elongating, creates the relaxed perception. But no, the perception in science is that the hair relaxes. Going back to a curl is the relaxing. So the tension that you guys pull on a flat iron and make the hair straight, that is the tension. When it wants to relax, it goes back to the curl. So when you guys keep saying, I don't want shrinkage, what you're saying is, I don't want the hair to have a natural behavior. And I know that that is not what you're saying. And that is why we need to have a scientific conversation, because you guys are disliking something that is not appropriate.
Wow. Well, when I tell you the chat is lit now, they like hot diggity dog, hot diggity dog. So
So let's just say this. This is why when I teach and I prove my point, and I take a string and I take it all the way down and I straighten it to all the way to a 10, right? Zero being back to coil, right? You cannot wet afro hair with water because of the molecular weight that Ladosha was mentioning. The water molecule is so small. By the time you guys spray your hair, it's going to go to zero. So what you do understand, when you flat iron it and you want to get a wave that you guys are actually trying to get, you can't give it water because it's going to go all the way to zero.
All the way. All the way. Now I
That
hope
is
you
relaxing.
guys, that is, so we have the language is flipped upside down. The science is inside out, upside down, backwards, because we don't write the science. This is what we're trying to get you guys to understand, is that we don't control the narrative. When she say they got receipts, they got receipts. So when people are out here talking about, the relaxer can go into your pores and go back down, and it's going to get into your, your bloodstream, and then it's going to get, and listen, do you guys understand? Water molecules are tinier than any of this stuff that they're talking about, that's going to get into your brain. If water don't get in there, the chemicals can't get in there. Do you guys understand what we're saying to you? You have to understand that the science is needed, the technology is needed. We're not knocking someone going into their kitchen and just making up some stuff, because hey, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, and it's your prerogative. But if we want to advance this industry and be able to be on the pulse of what the people are looking for, we need to have this technology driven by us. I typed in Google, and I said, what is the technology for black hair today? And this is what came up. Design Essentials Almond Avocado, Rutgers Roots Curly Cream, the Main Choice Power Curl, Blanche's Curl Moisture, Luster's Peak Shade Coconut Oil, Newell's Moisture. Is that where we going? Now, we started this segment of the live about George Washington Carver. So do we really think George Washington Carver just used a peanut? Come on, guys. They're not giving us the full Monty.
That is, it's also a misnomer that white people created technology for black people's hair in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Right?
Right.
Well, when it comes to, let's say, the afro, you don't have no dispute. There is no white people there. Right? But all of a sudden, when it comes to technology, certain black folks want to tell us that the curl was a Jerry curl by a white guy. Right? And so when you begin to understand that your George Washington Carver taught Austin Curtis taught Willie Morrow about molecular weight. That's what Ladosha mentioned. Our ability to distill, to break and cut molecules, to create compost or decomposition, to make vinegars and to make alcohols. We came to America with that. We also understood alkalins versus acids. We understood the pH scale. We understood berries. We understood. But see, but once you get to the conversation of parabens, the problem is that I want my black people to understand when they mention parabens, why would or does that formula in a relaxer or a permanent wave, parabens in that semi to permanent color, why would those particular products even need a preservative? Because a preservative is only there to keep mold and fungi and bacteria down. And it's usually in food-based products. You don't put a preservative in a product that is going to already preserve its own pH, mold, and bacteria just by mere default based on the pH. So even the formulation, the doctors and the dermatologists and the people doing these studies and the nonprofit people who are trying to advocate for our health and going into all of these conversations, they are not even versed on the formulation of the chemicals that they're saying that could, may, or don't, or it's inconclusive that it even, and that is unfair. Because what it does is it confuses us, frustrates us, and then it puts fear, and then we start creating behaviors from these false premises. And I don't like it because they know that we're not, most Black Americans are just, they love the headlines, they love the pictures, and they love, wanting to be included, into some of these studies. And, just so we can feel like white people care about us. But that is just, it's really damaging after, yeah.
Wow. Now, I have a jar of, a tub of relaxers here. This is real tiny. And I'm just going to read off the ingredients. We have, number one, we have water. We have mineral. We have petrolatum. We have cetyl alcohol. We have propylene glycol, sodium hydroxide, PEG 75 lanthanum, sodium lactate, cetyl alcohol, laureth 9, polysorbate 60, polyquaternium 6. I do not see a paraben in the products. And the paraben is what they are saying. They believe, the research is showing them that this is the endocrine disruptor that is associated with the concern about breast cancer. And so you guys got to understand what she's saying. Ain't no preservative. This is sodium hydroxide, y'all. Do y'all really think they're going to put this guy who makes this product is Dr. Ali Syed. Do you think this man has a PhD in this stuff? You really think he's going to take a preservative and put it
But it has nothing to even do with that. The plantation. Black folks understood soda ash and pot ash was high in pH and it does not need to be preserved. Let me ask you all a question. Let me ask you a question. Have you guys ever seen dried fruit? Okay. You guys seen dried fish? You've also seen dried meat.
Yeah, beef jerky.
Salami.
Yeah.
Charcuterie. Right?
Right. Everybody in the chat like, you right.
Let me just, now, what makes you guys think, what process dries out the moisture in the tissue and makes it a dried papaya, pineapple, fish, salami. What process?
I thought they sit in the sun.
Salt, sodium.
Oh, Sharon, you want? We got Sharon. I need to talk to you. Sharon in the chat. She coming with you toe
That's
to
why you
toe.
gotta have science. That's why you gotta have science. You gotta use your head. And
Andrea, you thinking
that's
like
how
me?
far. And that's how
You
far
see that?
our people are from where we came in this country. We were alchemists, we were farmers, we were uh, um, chemists. We knew. We were distillers. We knew how to make wine. We knew how to make preserved food. We didn't need no refrigerator. We knew this, and we taught them. But you can't let them juke you out your industry and your billions and your profits with junk research.
Are you hearing that? Now, this is the reason why Sharon is going toe to toe with you in this. She did about 10 laps for Jesus right here because she just dropped in the chat that she has a mortuary science major. Do you guys understand? I don't know because we're not quite getting the best feedback right now. But Cheryl and Sharon, thank you so much for being in the chat with us. But can you just take us back a little bit when I made the statement that Dr. Ali Sayed would not compromise his education or his product or his brand, Avalon Industries, by putting a preservative in a sodium hydroxide that doesn't need it. And you said something about we were doing this on the plantation and before Africa. So are you telling me that sodium hydroxide has been around during slavery and before slavery? Why people are saying that it causes cancer? Is that what you're saying?
Well, let's say this. Are they worried about the sodium hydroxide you put in your washing machine? Are they worried about the sodium hydroxide you brush your teeth with? Are they worried about the sodium, the hydroxide that you put on your food that's in the water? Now, I'll be the first one that says that I've also created a program called Green Sciences that creates a very eco-safe environment and smokeless styling and all of that. I got that. However, I am never outside of my ancestral information, scientific information, and full formal education, things that are precise and accurate and scientifically sound. I do not just go ahead and just think of something off the top of my head because I am, first of all, you truly love a people by what you tell them and how you teach them. Because if they don't teach you right, they won't treat you right. So I must be able to have critical analysis of what I'm talking about. And you can always see your people. They have always been farmers. They have always been close to the earth. They've always been the best in the top of the world of soil sciences. They have always been there. And I'm just letting you know that the Y2K, we can all just get on the same page of a set of scientific truths. And we need to do it quick so we can get our inheritance and keep it and grow and accumulate. Because at the end of the day, I'd rather get a grant to be able to take the thermotriactamine formulation of 2007 done by Mr. Morrow and put it into HBCUs and to put it into STEM and STEAM programs and for us to come out with safer and technologically sound, wonderful processes and treatments for salons to become rich.
So are you having the unmitigated gall? Are you having the audacity to suggest that cosmetology enter the world of STEAM, science, technology,
Absolutely.
engineering,
Absolutely.
arts, and mathematics? You mean the education that's for ex-felons, people who can't go to college and, learn the sciences?
I would make them scholars. We would make them Austin Curtises and Willie Morrows and Dr. Wickens and Marjorie Joyners and Andrew C.J. Walkers and Anthony Overtons and Gastons and all of them.
Do you guys hear what
Tradition of who we are.
this is our legacy? So we do. They say you killing. Oh, they say you killing them with the pseudo hair claims. Yeah. We see what's happening in history, that pseudoism. That's why I was so attracted to the pseudo killers and, all of the truth telling that's coming out right now, because I'm telling you, it's like I'm a lone star in the beauty industry and trying to help unpack and really liberate a lot of people from the psychosocial. I'm still a Naeem Akbar's, okay? The psychosocial chains of misinformation that's binding us and keeping us away from the rich history that we brought with us one before. Remember, she said this stuff happened before slavery. And remember, guys, when they went into Africa and was stealing the Africans, they wasn't just stealing people at random. They knew who to steal and who to take and why they were stealing those people and why they brought them over here. Look at what George Washington Carver was able to do to agriculture for the entire nation, not just down south.
To make my point. We knew George Washington Carver whole life was plans, right? Okay. Anyway, moving right along. Him and Henry Ford are together. And one of the things that Henry Ford really respected him, his chemical genius. Now, with that being said, Henry Ford asked me one day, I am not known for the first car. I'm known for creating the assembly line. That's what he's known for. The Model T and how the car is made. So when he asked Mr. Carver how to put that system together, put all the parts, fluid, put those over there, and he in a casual conversation, he says, what should I call it? What should I call the system? What do you think, Mr. What do I call the building? What do I call the whole warehouse? Well, what do you think?
I think I know come on, guys. What do you think George Washington Carver told Henry Ford? What should he call the system of assembling a car and how to put it together? I'm going to take a stab. I'm going to take a pick, and I'm going to say a plant. Do you guys see?
Manufacturing. I mean,
You guys see this?
It doesn't. We came
Are
here.
you guys?
We came here.
I'm sorry. Now the hearts are going. That's right, guys. Hit the hard. That's right. Everybody jumped in the chat and was like a plant. Did you see how Cheryl was able to take something that we think is coming from outside and away from us? When we think of a plant, and you know, my mother worked in a plant, or because my mother worked for General Motors. She worked in a plant. And to know today, right here on this live, everybody is just like, I almost want to cry. You see what I'm saying? This is why we have to save the beauty industry. This is why our contributions as African Americans, we have to go way down deep, and then sometimes we have to look right on the surface, and we have to do the right thing by way of science and technology, and then of course nature. We can make that synergistic blend, you know, come together so that we can advance, because the home hair care, grab some water and put some water in some oil and try to mix it up, and coconut oil and shea butter. Hey guys, it's never gonna work. It's like I got some good news and I got some bad news. And I know people are like, well, I've been using it for such a long time. Well, it's just a matter of time before you.
And let me just say this. Why do you think black people in the Western world, there's not one butter multi-millionaire with just one nut. There's not a shea butter billionaire. Not one. Not in Africa. Not in Europe. Not in the United States. Why?
All right. Let's go for it.
Got a tree grow in the continent. Why isn't there any rich pipeline of shea butter, nut, food, all the way to Butte? Why is there not
anybody
one
shea?
Anybody
want to take a stab? Anybody want to take a carve at that and answer that? Why are there no billionaire shea nut butter? Shea nut, the tree coming out of Africa, because I think we're kind of consuming. Sharon said because you need more than the shea nut. Would she be right?
Well, she would absolutely be partly right. The problem is that when you close your eyes, you still see them little impoverished little community needing, the shea butter, putting it in a paper bag, and then sending it somewhere. We have not learned how to the shea butter oil molecule. Why? Because we don't approach it as science. We have not been able to make a luxury shea butter market because we refuse. We just keep wanting to keep it in the paper bag, wanting to get in the plastic tub, wanting to keep it at the farmer's market. That is not our legacy.
Now, let me just say, did you guys hear what she's saying? We want to keep going back to school now, and I'm going with you, Sharon. She said we want to keep that shea butter in them tubs. We want to keep the shea butter in the bag. When I went to Africa, I brought back so much shea butter, I almost didn't make it through. I thought they was going to lock me up, all that shea butter I had in that suitcase. And let me just tell you, she is absolutely right, because when you think of the raw petroleum, think of all of the ways that they are taking petroleum and synthesizing it. And when I tell you, these people are multi-billionaires, okay? So we're not doing the earth for certain.
And who are the billionaires who made billions off the shea butter? Estee Lauder, Body Shop, El Octane, the shaving group, the men's grooming shaving, Little boutique.
Little boutique.
Why? Because
Why?
they know
Because
how
they
to
know how to
create science
create
and be able
science
to
and be
take
able
the
to
food
take
grade
the
of
food
shea nut,
grade of shea nut,
transfer it into
transfer
high
it into
science,
high science,
put it in pretty
put it in
jewel
pretty
factor
jewel
cosmetics,
factor cosmetics,
and you guys buy
and you
it
guys
every
buy
day.
it every day.
And then one little
And then
group of black
one little
people will
group
go
of
to the
black
farmers
people will go to
market.
the farmers
We
market.
keep our little
And
shea
we keep
butter
our little
market
shea butter
so
market
small.
so small.
Now Estee Lauder,
Now
and
Estee
everybody
Lauder,
is
and
taking shea
everybody
butter
is
to the
taking
bank.
shea butter to the bank.
You're right. We have.
And let me just say this.
And let me just say this.
It's called,
It's called,
as Dr. Amos
as
Wilson
Dr. Amos Wilson
used to tell me, it's called
it's
dumb
called
goodness,
dumb goodness,
stupid suffering.
stupid suffering.
Come on, let's give it up for Dr. Amos Wilson. I gotta put that in. I gotta put that in there, guys. I gotta put that in there. She said that this is called. This is per Dr. And we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. We had a little because Andrea is Dr. Amos Wilson. He says what again? It's called what?
Dumb goodness,
Dumb
and
goodness,
suffering.
Dumb goodness and
Stupid suffering.
stupid suffering.
All in the
stupid.
name
All in the name
of
of
being natural.
wanting to be natural.
Did y'all say that? We gonna keep this probably for a while, so that we can, I'm gonna actually kind of use this to kind of fuel the conversation. We need you guys, number one. Thank you so much, Sharon, to please share these lives before we wrap up, because we're going to come back next week and we are going to go a little bit more into junk research. We start off with fake news, and now you can see how the fake news, it just spirals out of control, from sodium hydroxides being bad and causing cancers, to putting parabens inside of things that it never even needed, doesn't even make any sense, to the rich legacy of George Washington Carver, and him naming the whole thing, the plant. As you guys can see right here on this platform, you get the pure and unadulterated truth about what it is to be black and beautiful. And so as we wrap it up with Dr. Amos Wilson's dumb goodness and stupid suffering, how can we follow Miss Morrow? You can follow her right here on Facebook. She is on Twitter, but actively here on Facebook, and you do have a publication that she posts, and she puts that out. So go follow her on Facebook, and you will, if you're into brilliant reading, I call her unapologetically brilliant, and I hope you guys can now understand why I affectionately, I send her t-shirts. I'm going to send her a mug that's coming up next that says unapologetically brilliant, because you know what? She's doing us, she's giving us some food for thought. And anybody that's out here that's working with these raw materials, we hope you understand that this is why we think that Estee Lauder and them are stealing this stuff from us. You know what I'm saying? But they're not. They're taking it and they're advancing it. We're doing this to ourselves per Dr. Amos Wilson. I wish I could have talked to Dr. Amos Wilson. Dumb goodness and stupid suffering. So we have to do that. And I'll tell you what, when I was in Africa, when I was in the Gambia, and Gambia is a developing country, I'm going to be honest, guys, they're pleading for technology because they know that those raw materials are not helping, it's not helping them out as citizens. They like, please come back, Ladosha, please, we need your help. They want us to do more. As a matter of fact, they couldn't even understand, why would you put shea butter in your hair? And I was like, well, for some reason in America, they think this what, y'all doing in Africa. And they was like, who told them that? Who told them?
Ladosha. Raw black soap will burn your skin. because it's
That's
soda.
because it's soda.
It's a
It's
natural preservative.
It's a natural preservative.
And you do hear people say, I can't use black soap. It burned my skin. You hear that all the time. You hear that all the time about black. They said repeat that. Andrea ready to come and work for you, Cheryl. She like, come on and let me say. She said, can you repeat that about, Sharon said bicarbonate?
Bicarbonate.
Is that what you're saying, Sharon? Is the black soap? But Andrea wants you to repeat.
It's an alkali. It is at least a 12. On the pH. So when you see them cooking that black soap,
Woo!
bringing all that sodium to the forefront, and you can't use that stuff. You gotta put that. Them Africans are tea. Don't put it straight on your skin now. And that's because we have an innate connection to our environment. They said, Dr. Carver, he would talk to the plants. The plants would tell him what to do. And that is from thousands of years of observation. That is the law of observation. That is what Africans have a jump on the world. So when we came here, we act naturally understood. Stick your hand in that light soap after a couple of weeks, you're gonna be lighter. We get it. But we have to get it in a systematic, scientific, critical analysis. Create the sciences and the technology and the engineering and the mathematics. That is who we are.
Yeah.
Because if we think like air, and not like hustlers, then we don't have to start from scratch. We have a gift. We've been given. You must accumulate and build upon what you've been given.
You guys hear that?
Don't let the Europeans beat us to the marketplace.
We can't do it, guys. We can't hustle this. Everybody's, I'm a hustler. I'm the best seller alive. Nigga, ask about me. Come on, guys. My daddy told me, hustlers get hustled. So, and I'm not saying there's not an element of hustle and bustle to try to move to and fro, but you guys know what we're talking about. C. Foster says, some Jamaicans are surprised that we use castor oil in our hair too. You are correct. Again, what they call us, the dumb Americans. We're not trying to be condescending. Let me just say that. We're not trying to condescend. What we're doing, guys, is asking everybody to elevate their level of thinking. Get yourself some good old-fashioned history and understand Dr. Amos Wilson's dumb goodness and stupid suffering. We got some other people. Everybody on Facebook is ready to pack it up and fly to San Diego right now. I see airplanes are in there. People are like, you're going to start a cult is what you're about to start. I can see right now they're going to call Cheryl Morrow a cult leader. Please do not let them trick you into that. This is not a cult. This is true science, guys. So we are not starting a cult here. They say they are ready to get their suitcases. They don't care nothing about this $6 a gallon for gas. They're ready to go. They're ready to, be a part of what Cheryl Morrow is talking about. This is Afro Cosmetology. We want you guys to please stay with us. This is the first of a 3-part series, and we started off already with fake news, and you guys can see the rich content, the rich information that has been ready really edifying, and it's making people think differently already. I can see what's happening in the chat. We're going to come back next week, and we're going to get this party started with junk research. I have never heard of this term, junk research, so we are going to find out what is junk research, I guess methodologies and how they're finding out. I don't know anything about, this. So Cheryl is going to bring us back next week. We'll be back here Monday at 6 o'clock. Please share the content. Don't forget to subscribe. They in the chat, they got their pencils and pens. They're going to be ready. And remember, guys, we are doing all of this to help change the narrative, because Cheryl and we are putting together a documentary to really begin, because we know one documentary won't do it, to begin to reveal what you guys are getting right here live with us. And the documentary is called The Narrative, and you guys are definitely helping us change it. So if you are on your platforms and you're giving out some good information, use that hashtag help change the narrative so we can begin that conversation. So if you bust a molecule, help change the narrative. If you stop calling, straight hair, relaxed hair, help change the narrative. So go ahead on and do what you need to do. We thank you guys so very much. YouTube, you have been down with us. LinkedIn, we thank you so very much. I think LinkedIn are like, y'all a little bit rogue, but this is how we do it. It's pure and unadulterated. So some things you just can't sugarcoat, all right? And Black history is absolutely, it just gets you all pumped up, you know what I'm saying? So thank you guys so much. Cheryl, anything you want the people to know or do or say or whatever before, they said yes, yeah. So I see you, Miss Foster. You're making a good point. Anything you want to just share, or what should we do? Or
well, one of the things that I wanted, we can keep an open mind. And I am just doing my due diligence, doing what my family want me to do. I have been taken care of, and I love this industry, and I am not going to let anybody from us. And one of the things that in the words of Al Sharpton, we do not want to be the generation that loses it all.
No. Yeah, we don't want to be the generation that lose it all, and you guys can help us keep it. This beauty industry has changed this nation in more ways than what you guys can possibly realize. And we're not just talking about on top of your head, but politically, financially, medically, spiritually. Hairstylists, we do so much more than just hair, and we cannot let them keep us in the kitchen and take us, because we didn't start there. People think we did, but as you can see, that's not true. Alchemy is the word. It's the word for the day. Look it up, use it in your language, and associate it with yourself if you're in this game. All right, Andrea and Sharon, we're going to get our tickets and we're going to pack it up and get ready to go to San Diego. If you're down for the San Diego pilgrimage, go ahead on and put that San Diego pilgrimage, and we'll get that going. Thank you guys so much. We will be back next week, and we're going to start this off with junk research. And don't forget to share the content. We appreciate you. Hit that thumbs up button and get us into these algorithms. So thank you guys very much. You know what I said when I'm always signing out, right? Sure, we talk about a whole lot of peace, a whole lot of love, most certainly a whole lot of hair. But check this out. If you ain't got no hair, don't want no hair, can't stand hair, can't grow no hair, as a matter of fact, you plan on cutting it off in 2022, we say don't even worry about it, because bald heads, bald spots, bald patches, whatever you want to call them, those are beautiful too, and so are you. We'll see you next week at 6 o'clock, Junk Research.